why are people calling you a fraud? What's going on? Is this new drama that got drummed up recently?
100%. I mean, let's just chat about it now. I mean, so I ran in the Houston Marathon on Sunday, and by the time I tried to sign up for my bib, registration was closed. And in the past, I've gotten into races.
What's a bib?
A bib is just like the actual like placement. It's you registering for a powerlifting competition.
The number that they give you in the race. The number that they give you,
exactly. And it's basically verifying that you signed up and you did the proper steps to get into this challenge race or whatever. So I tried to get my bib a couple weeks ago. And typically in some races, you can get a bib 24 hours before a race because they're not sold out. And at the end of the day, these races and marathons, they want to profit. They want to sell out as many quote unquote bibs or registrations as possible because it's a moneymaker. But Houston, they sold out of bibs in like January, like the end of December maybe. Yeah. So by the time I tried to get one, it was too late. So then I kind of went into the mode of like, all right, shoot, like I made a human error. Like I should have paid attention more and gotten this earlier, but I didn't. So now my mind goes to a place where it's like, all right, what do I do now? Like I can either just say, screw this race, I just been training but not run it, or reach out and find people that might have a extra bib in that case. So I've reached out to one of my buddies, James Rowe, who has a run club in Atlanta called ARC. And I just asked him, I'm like, yo, does anyone in the club have an extra bib that they're not gonna use? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, we got 3 extra bibs. I'm like, shit. I was like, dude.
So that means these people aren't actually running in the race.
Exactly. I mean, so this stuff happens quite often, right? Like if you're training for something and something pops up and you twist your ankle or you get hurt or life happens, you have to go to a wedding or whatever, someone might not run a race that they bought a ticket for, bought a bib for. So the race, the marathon, they get to just pocket that money and there's one less person that's running. So for me, I was just like, I thought of it as like a no harm, no foul. Like let me just like get a bib, and obviously I couldn't transfer my name because Houston just doesn't allow transfers of bibs. Other races do. So if I was running in New York and for some reason I couldn't, I could be like, yo, Mark's gonna go run for me, right? And like it's happened in the past.
Yeah.
Long story short, I end up doing that. I go through that process. I don't transfer the bib over, but I run the race under someone else's bib, someone else's name. So technically, Matt Choi didn't register for this race, so I was running in this terminology as a bib mule. And I didn't even know that was a thing.
What is a bib mule?
So a bib mule, I guess from the article that had gotten written about me, was basically someone who runs under someone else's name in the goal of like trying to qualify for a race or trying to get in for free or whatever it is, like however you want to like contextualize it. The intent was not in that fashion. I just wanted to run just to see what I can get as a personal time. The dude that I ran for had no intent to run Boston. Like this was just another thing that he just had signed up for. So it's unfortunate. And I think in moments like this, it's like, you know, it's a test of character as well, right? Like I know I fucked up by not buying one. And that's on me, and I can take ownership for that. It's unfortunate how far social media can go where it just becomes a negative thing, and everyone assumes the worst, right? It's like, oh my God, this guy is an influencer, he's in the space, and now he's trying to take away from the running community, right? And it's like, I feel like all of my actions before this have been the total opposite. It's been only to like bring value or bring more eyes to the running community because of what it's done for me, right? Like running's changed my life. More so than honestly football in that sense, which is crazy to think about since I'm only been running for 2 years, you know? So it's unfortunate that had happened, and I got to take ownership for my actions. And it's a good learning lesson for me moving forward that like, I can't just take things so lightly. Like that's always been my mindset. Like, it's not that the end of the world. Like Mark, I'm just using someone's bib. It's not like I'm trying to cheat or I'm trying, like, you know? So for me, there was no malicious intent, but obviously from the outside looking in, people are going to have their skepticism or assumption on what happened. So for me, it's like, now I got to understand that I have to dot my I's and cross my T's better and cover my own ass in that sense.
You gotta also think, if you were trying to be purposefully a bib mule, why would you film the whole marathon? Like, hey, mile 1, mile 2, all the way to mile 26. Yeah. That's not a very secretive bib mule.
You weren't 100%. Hiding it.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, and I've been making content around the Houston Marathon. Like, and I always do these preps where I'm bringing the people along with me, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm 5 weeks out from the race, 4 weeks out from the race. I think for me, just like life's been, you know, happening so fast where I just forgot to sign up. And like, honestly, people that actually know me, like this is like normal behavior where I literally got my hotel ticket for Sacramento yesterday when I landed in Sacramento. Like that type of shit is just how I operate as like an entrepreneur, as a human. Like,
we're the same.
Exactly. I don't stress about like the minute details. And I know that in this scenario, like it's bigger than just the details, because, you know, now it's like my image and the brands I work with. And it is unfortunate because, you know, it is self-inflicting in that sense, but I'm fully taking ownership for it, right? It's like, I'm not trying to point the finger and be like, oh my God, like I can't believe this is happening to me, woe is me mentality. I'm almost trying to figure out like what's the best way to kind of deal with this type of negative backlash, you know? Because it is like, I'm crossing into a field now where it is different, because most of my shit's been so positive. People have been getting like impacted in their lives. And I'm just like, damn, now someone is taking a story into their own way and people are hearing it and they're making their own assumptions like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And I'm just like, damn, it's just, it's unfortunate.
The truth is that you maybe are a little lax and irresponsible, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Same. Last time I went to Austin, Texas, I didn't book a hotel. A lot of times my wife handles stuff like that for me, so I wasn't even really thinking about it. And then I got there and I'm like, I don't have any like hotel information. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just have a Uber take me to like a hotel in Austin, you know? And so I asked the Uber just to take me to like a nice hotel, like in Austin. They dropped me off. I walked in and I got a room. Yeah. And, you know, my wife, she called me later and she's like, how'd you end up getting a room? Or like, what? I was like, I don't know. I just drove to the same hotel that I went to last time, and I walked in and I got a room. She's like, oh my God, that's so lucky. Like that's kind of, that's kind of how I roll a lot of times. And I was fortunate. I didn't have to go to like 7 different hotels. There wasn't some major convention going on there, but I do that kind of shit all the time. I wait till last minute on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you're also in the Boston Marathon. You're about to go to the Boston Marathon too.
Well, I'm running with his bib.
Oh, so you were his bib mule.
I was the bib mule.
Yeah,
guys, that's a fucking joke. Before someone makes an article,
I utilized his time to qualify.
Yeah. Oh, sub 3. Good job, Mark.
Way to go, Mark.
I'll take it whatever way I can. Hey, some people earn it, and some people just pay for it. Right?
But you still earned it because you had to earn that money.
That's right. Sold a lot of slingshots for that shit.
Well, what's happening with this? Like, do you know if you'll be able to run Boston? Because you weren't trying to be a bib mule, right? But your time did qualify for Boston.
Yeah, so I mean, I already qualified. So
I was going to say your times are already super fast, so I'd imagine you qualified anyway.
Yeah, so I qualified for Boston 5 months ago in the Tunnel Vision Marathon, right?
Okay.
And what happens in Boston is you have to qualify before the cutoff date, which is November of the year prior to the race. So I had to get a qualifying time before November 2022 to get accepted for Boston April of 2023. So even the time I just posted for this guy, Eric Lee, in January 15th of 23, that's technically a qualifying time for Boston 24. So it doesn't even impact it for this year. So I think, yes, I mean, that time is DQ'd now. Like there's no qualifying time for that. But I already qualified 5 months ago when I ran Tunnel Vision. So if there's repercussions now where, because I did this, that they don't allow me run this year, I mean, that would be super unfortunate, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
It's just DQ'd for 24 for that guy.
Yeah.
It's, so just like fishing for things, like for why like this article was written the way it was, like why did the guy who bought the bib, why did he back out of the marathon?
Yeah, so he lives in Atlanta and just like couldn't make it. So he had like an injury a couple weeks ago, so he just was like, I'm not going to run the race. So he just didn't go. So it was literally just an extra bib.
Yeah.
It happened that he's also Asian too. His name's Eric Lee. So I was like, my buddy James was like, at least that's a little bit better. Like at least it wasn't like a Caucasian name or like something outlandish. But yeah, the guy basically was injured, so he didn't run the race.
You know, it would have actually been better if it wasn't an Asian guy, because now they're like, oh, he's trying to impersonate Eric Lee. If it was at least like maybe a 6'5" black dude or something, it would have been better, you know. But you just fucked yourself saying.
Oh my god. Oh man.
Power Project family, your normal shoes are are making you weak. This is why we partner with Vivo Barefoot Shoes, because they have a wide toe box, they're flat, and they're flexible. So with every single step you're taking, if you're taking a 10-minute walk outside, or when you're working out in the gym, your feet are able to do what they're supposed to do in this shoe. They have tons of options for hiking, running, training in the gym, chilling and relaxing, casual shoes for if you're out on a date. You need to check them out. And Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, that's over at vivobarefoot.com/powerproject, and you guys will receive 15% off your order automatically. Again, vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes. And so, like, how often does this happen, though? Like, when somebody will buy a bib and then they can't do it and they can't transfer the name. Like, how often does somebody technically become a mule for somebody else?
I mean, that I don't know the exact answer. What I do know is I'm sure it's very common that someone runs under a different name, just takes a bib, right? Like, but you gotta think, like, for me, I'm on socials, like I make a bunch of content. If I made 0 videos, no one would have really known, right? But the fact that I'm obviously out there and putting it out there, it made it a very easy target for myself.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that this happens all the time. I mean, people get into races. Things happen in life, and no one wants to waste $100, $250, whatever the ticket to get into a race is. If someone else is willing to run it, it would just benefit the race for more people to be there, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know the exact answer. Clearly it's enough for this guy to have a whole blog around marathon investigation because it's happened in the past. And honestly, someone wrote in the comments, like, Matt's new to running and this guy Derek's been around in the space and he's found a bunch of other people that have done similar things, obviously, because this is a proper business. So it's not in, I really don't know how often it happens, but I'm sure it's happening quite. I'm sure I wasn't the only one in Houston that did that or used someone else's bib. Maybe not as a mule, but you just using someone's bib.
Why would it be like looked down upon? Like, is there an advantage of?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you have someone that, you know, is capable of running faster, that runs for you to get into a historic race, that would be a problem, right? That's what's happening. So
So you wearing this other guy's bib and getting a certain time recorded, and then he gets into that race that way.
Exactly, which it wasn't technically earned.
Because it's him. Like the thing is like it's like chipped, right? It has a chip in it. A lot of the bib has a chip in it, right? That tells you your time, and it's associated to your name.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
and there's thousands of. I get it. There's thousands of people running. It's not like there's like 10 people running. There's thousands of people sometimes running in these races.
Yeah, and obviously the Boston Marathon too, right? Getting a sub 3-hour marathon is like a goal that some people have for their whole lives, right? So for that to happen, it's like, shoot, even for me, it took me 4 marathons to qualify for Boston, right? It's an achievement that is not just for the faint of heart, right? So it's like people work their whole lives to do it, and I understand why these people, like why this person would make such a negative article about it, but the fact that like the intent was not in that fashion, right? And like I think that's just on me to maybe clarify that as well, where it's like I just personally wanted to run the Houston Marathon because I had trained for it and I wanted to see what time I could get, right? For me, I already qualified for Boston, but I mean, it makes sense from the outside looking in of someone being like, oh my God, this guy's trying to take advantage and run for someone, you know?
You know, I'm not in the running space, so I don't give a fuck about saying this, but you know, you're like, some people work their whole lives to do sub 3 and I did it in 4 marathons. Number one, I know you were being cool. I know you weren't even trying to sound like that, but I'm just like, man, I could see this writer dude seeing your Instagram
Steaming.
And you're like, he has 100 and something thousand followers. He has a big ass TikTok and YouTube and he just he got into the Boston. Fuck this dude. And then just goes in because like
angry.
He's a little TMZ ass little fucking gremlin. Dude, fuck you. Seriously. I'm not in the space, so I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
Come after me, motherfucker. Oh God, that's funny.
Yeah.
I said this, not Matt.
Yeah, if it was up to him, Matt would probably be like, don't say that.
Yeah.
But
he's a grown man out here.
Yeah, who's going to stop him?
Not I.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, go ahead and comment down below and let us know what you liked about it, all right? Share this with a friend. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And also, we are on Reddit and Discord. All that's down below. All our sponsors and everyone that supports us down below there too, so you can get whatever you like from us, all right? Peace.